When I first started selling on Amazon over 5 years ago, software tools were nothing like they are now. As a matter of fact, there are more companies, there are more features, there are more functionality, and you're probably wondering, what is the best Amazon software tool? And in today's video, what I want to do is give you guys an honest review of the top 2 software companies in the space, in my opinion, and that is Jungle Scout and Helium 10. We're going to break down into the tools, break down the functionality, the pricing, the features, what it's going to do to help you grow your Amazon FBA business. If that sounds good, let's get into it. All right, so first things first, I want to dive into my seller accounts and let you guys know that I am a current 7-figure Amazon seller. And what I'm going to be talking about in today's video is from personal experience over the last 5 years using Amazon software tools literally every single day. So right here is my main account. As you can see, I've done just over $785,000 in the last 12 months. If we come over here to my second account, we've done just over $352,000. And if you add those two up, we've done just over $1.1 million. So if you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor, like the video, subscribe, drop a comment. Your guys' support means the world. And let's dive into my screen and let's compare Helium 10 versus Jungle Scout. And again, I'm going to be speaking from personal experience. Okay, so the first thing I want to compare is the pricing. So Jungle Scout has a basic suite professional from $49 to $129. If we come to Helium 10, they have a starter at $39 and it goes all the way up to $249. So Helium 10 does have a little bit higher tier plan, which is the diamond plan. And the biggest difference is you have access to what's called Atomics. It's an Amazon PPC tool that helps you optimize and automate and break down all of your PPC campaigns, where Jungle Scout doesn't even offer a service like that. So that's kind of the biggest difference between their high tier plan. But if we compare the starter plan for $39 to Jungle Scout's basic, they're very similar. But the suite and professional is kind of a mix of Helium 10's platinum plan. So what I tell people is get the platinum plan. That's where you're going to want to start. That's basically all the tools. And then in Jungle Scout's case, you'll start probably with the suite, but you will need to eventually upgrade to the professional. And I'll kind of break down the difference between the two. But right here, the platinum plan, $99 a month. I actually have a coupon code with Helium 10. If you guys want to use the link down below, you guys can actually get 20% off for the first 6 months. Jungle Scout, sadly, I have the link down below, but they don't have a special discount code and they wouldn't give me one. So we're looking at $69 a month or $129 a month. Or Helium 10, we're looking at $99 or $80 a month. So that is kind of the breakdown of the pricing. Now what I want to do is break down the Chrome extension. So this is kind of the staple software tool. This is kind of what started at the very beginning of like what revolutionized the game. Is you go to Amazon, you search for a keyword, and it gives you all the data that you need to have in order to make an educated decision on, is this product have potential or not? So right here, this is what Jungle Scout's Chrome extension looks like. This is what Helium 10's Chrome extension looks like. And as you can see, they look very similar. However, there are a few differences that, in my opinion, I think Helium 10 takes the win, and I'll break that down. So for the most part, they're very similar, but where Helium 10 stands out is they have the search volume right here, and you can click on this chart, and it actually shows you the all-time historical data for this particular keyword. Where Jungle Scout, they don't have that, and yes, you can look at that on their Keyword Scout tool to look at the historical data, but you do have to upgrade to the professional plan in order to see historical data more than 1 year. So if you want to see up to 2 years, you have to have the professional plan. And in my opinion, that's pretty important because you need to know, is it seasonal? Is it a trendy product? Is it dying off? What is the search volume over time? And as you can see, we can see that it's definitely seasonal during August, during back to school. It has spikes, and that is a sign that, hey, there is a little bit of seasonality. And right here, you can see people weren't going back to school and during COVID, and so there wasn't a spike. So it's really cool to look at, and that's one kind of huge, massive benefit, in my opinion, that Helium 10 has. And then another thing is the sales graph. This is where you can actually see the historical data over time of certain sellers and looking at when they launched and are they on a downward trend. And it looks like, to be honest, this is on a downward trend. Unicorns were probably a little bit more popular back in 2020, 2021 compared to now. So it's a little downtrend. And again, you would look at that and be able to look at all of your competitors, and Jungle Scout does not have that. The next thing that Helium 10 has that Jungle Scout does not. Again, this is not the end of the world because you can go in and you can actually delete irrelevant products. And so what I tell people is there are sometimes going to be products that just don't fit on that first page. They're not your competitors, so we want to remove them from our data. And what you can do that is you can come over here and just delete them. You can do that in Jungle Scout, but right here on the filtered results, you can do a title keyword search where you can enter in unicorn, for example, and it will remove all listings that don't have unicorn in the title, so it narrows it down. And Jungle Scout does not have that feature. Again, it's not the end of the world, but those are just a few kind of key differences. And then over here, they've got to find suppliers on Alibaba. Again, I don't think that this is really that useful. You can go to Alibaba and search it. I mean, there might be use cases where you can say, oh, hey, like, let's see if this product is profitable or if I can find a supplier, if it's even an option. It's cool. It's not anything that to die for, but again, it is a feature that Helium 10 has where Jungle Scout does not. So overall, very similar functionality other than the historical data, the search volume, and the sales graph. If we look at basically the numbers, the average revenue is 22,000, where over here, Jungle Scout is 28,000. So it's a little bit more. The average price was $26 on Helium 10, average price 27. So very, very similar. The data seems to be pretty similar for the most part. And as you can see, that's kind of the breakdown. And again, the UI is a little bit different. So you can say, hey, I like the UI better on this one, or Jungle Scout or Helium 10, and maybe that's where you make your decision. So that's kind of the biggest difference between the Chrome extension. Now I want to dive into the product research tools. So we'll come over here to Helium 10, and they have a tool called Black Box. And they have different tools inside of Black Box where you've got products, keywords, competitors, niche, product targeting. Where Jungle Scout, they do have a keywords tool that's similar and a products tool that's similar. They don't have competitors and product targeting. And so that is one disadvantage. And for the most part, they're very similar. So if we come over here to Jungle Scout and we look at what's called the opportunity finder, that is Black Box keyword research tool. They're very similar. And the one thing that I do like about Jungle Scout is they have a way to dissect the information a little bit easier. If you're a brand new seller, this is an advantage because literally it tells you, hey, the competition, I'm looking for low and I don't want it to be seasonal. And all you need to do is slide this. Where on Helium 10, you actually have to enter in like the review count. If you want something that's less competitive, you would want to do probably less than maybe 100 reviews or 200 reviews. And that's how to gauge the competition, where Jungle Scout just has a simple slider, which is kind of cool. So if I hit search, I'm going to come over here. I want to find a product with low competition. I don't want it to be seasonal. I'll hit search. I entered in the search volume, all the criterias, and it shows 235 products that I can go through. And again, all of this data is broken down right there. It shows the average monthly price, the monthly search volume. You can click on the search volume and you can actually see kind of the average units sold, the average price, the search volume, the seasonality. And again, this is where, in my opinion, you have to upgrade the Jungle Scout plan, because if you want to see the historical data for up to 2 years, you have to upgrade to that $129 per month plan, which in my opinion, I think is very important to know and understand the seasonality and the demand and the trends of that product. Where if we come back over here to Helium 10, it has the search volume right here, and it breaks it down. You can go to all time and you can see that, hey, this has spikes during Q4, but it's on an upward trend overall. And that's something important to look at. So the historical data on Helium 10 goes back further, and you don't have to upgrade your plan. And then right here, you can see, in my opinion, the UI is just a little bit easier to dissect. It breaks down the price, the monthly revenue, the monthly sales, the reviews. And then from here, you can go in and view it on Amazon or run into the keyword tool. And again, the same thing you can do, search it on Amazon and you see everything. So they're very similar. Again, they just have a few minor differences. Biggest difference in from Jungle Scout is this competition and seasonality bar. And then again, the historical data on Helium 10 is going to be a little bit better. So that is the keyword tab. The products tab, again, is very similar from Jungle Scout to Helium 10. Is called the product database. And the biggest difference is the filters that Jungle Scout has. They have great filters, but they don't have as many. And again, some of these filters again are not going to be the end of the world, but like they have number of images, they've got title keywords, exclude keywords, variation count, where Jungle Scout does not. I guess they do have the include and exclude, but they don't have the number of images, the variation count, and certain things that, again, I don't really use, so it's not really that big of a deal. And I don't even really necessarily use the exclude title keywords unless I'm doing research during like Halloween or during December where there's a lot of Christmas products or Halloween products. I'll exclude certain keywords that just are not relevant. So you'll be able to do that both on Jungle Scout and Helium 10, but for the most part, they're very similar. Again, the UI, yes, there's some differences, but again, very similar functionality. If we come back over here to Helium 10, again, they have a competitors, a niche, and product targeting. And again, Jungle Scout does not offer, like for example, I can go in here and I can enter in a phrase. So let's say I'm passionate about something like soccer. I can enter in this phrase and find products that fit certain filters and criterias around a product that I'm passionate about. And sadly, Jungle Scout does not have a tool like that. They have category trends, which in my opinion is kind of worthless. You can just find this on Amazon. This is just the best sellers on the different categories. This is nothing that I'm going to be really using all that much. So for the most part, very similar. There are a few advantages to Helium 10. There's a few more tools and a few ways to find products. And then another thing is you can also use the product targeting tab to help with Amazon PPC. So that is another cool thing with Helium 10 is their black box product research tool also is going to help optimize your Amazon PPC. So that's a breakdown. Again, the filters are not that big of a deal. The historical data, yes, is. But Helium 10 just has a few more features than Jungle Scout. But again, they do very similar things. They have very similar functionalities. And if you're using both tools, you would be able to find winning products using both. So again, it just depends on which one you want to use, which one you like to look at. And then again, if you want additional features like Helium 10, then that's one thing to look at. So now let's come over to the reverse ASIN lookup tool, compare Jungle Scout to Helium 10. And again, they're very similar, but again, Jungle Scout is lacking on the filters. They don't have as many filters. Again, these filters are not the end of the world. They're not the most important, but if you are very particular and you want the best filters and you want to narrow it down to the millimeter, then you'll probably want Helium 10. They just have more filters. And then if we come down here again, you can look at the 30-day search trend. And again, you have to upgrade your plan to look at the search trend over time. And that's just something that is included in Helium 10, and you can actually go back with more historical data. The easy to rank is kind of cool. It just shows like, hey, how easy is this going to be able to rank? Where Helium 10, what I'm going to be looking at is the CPR number. And again, for a beginner, they might not understand what the CPR number is, and so they wouldn't really know what to look at. So from a beginner standpoint, looking at that, be like, oh, hey, this is easier to rank for. Maybe this is a keyword that I want to target. But again, you want to familiarize yourself with the Amazon process before you just start launching a product. So that is a cool feature that Jungle Scout has. One thing that really stands out to Helium 10 versus Jungle Scout is they actually integrate into Amazon brand analytics. So on this account, it's not linked to my seller account, but on my other one, it is linked, and you're able to look at the Amazon brand analytics, which is super important. And you're able to see who is taking up the market share for what keywords and what percentage. And this is great data. And again, if you're brand registered, you don't necessarily need Jungle Scout. Again, this is just pulling it in. And so if you have it, it's a great tool and you might as well use it. So that is one thing that, again, Helium 10 has that Jungle Scout doesn't. And for the most part, looking at them, again, this isn't going to make or break your business, but if I'm looking at them thus far, comparing them apples to apples, they're very similar in price, but you are getting a lot more features, a lot more filters inside Helium 10 just up to this point. So that's just kind of my review so far. Again, I'll put the links down below that you guys can check out both on your own, but that is the difference between Cerebro, the reverse ASIN lookup from Helium 10 to Jungle Scout. Now let's talk about listing optimization. So if we come over here, Helium 10 has Frankenstein scribbles, index checker, listing analyzer, listing builder, and audience. And what's crazy is Jungle Scout, they only have a listing builder. They don't have Frankenstein. They don't have scribbles. They don't have an index checker, which I think is crucial. They're missing the boat, and maybe they do, but I didn't see it. And knowing whether or not your index is very important. And if you're an Amazon seller and you don't know if your product is indexed or not, and you probably don't even know if you're a brand new seller, don't worry about it. But that is something that you need to know. Basically means that, is your product searchable? Is your product actually able to be found on a specific keyword? And that's what being indexed is. The audience, this is where you're able to actually go in and figure out a side-by-side comparison of what image is better, or what product is better, what color is better, and you can actually get real live market feedback. And then scribbles, this is something that I just personally like the UI of Helium 10 versus Jungle Scout. It shows way easier what keywords you've used, the phrases, the words, and it breaks it all down right here, where Jungle Scout, yes, they do have something, but again, it's just a little bit more complicated. Like the use phrase, as you can see, it's used here, but we're on Helium 10, it clearly displays like, hey, this is slashed out, and it shows me right here that I'm using a keyword and it's a red one. Then right here, it's a green one, and I'm easily able to find the keywords. And so from a listing builder standpoint, an optimization standpoint, Helium 10 wins by a landslide. They've got way more tools, way more features, way more things to offer. And again, Jungle Scout does not have near the tools that Helium 10 has in the listing optimization department. Now let's talk about just kind of the overall other tools that Helium 10 has and Jungle Scout has. And let's just first talk about Jungle Scout. And they have a cool feature called the supplier database, where you can actually search for a product or search for an ASIN, and it will help you find suppliers. So this is a non-traditional route. It's not going through Alibaba. You're actually finding the source, and this is a pretty cool feature. For the most part, I just go on Alibaba and find my suppliers, and you can find very similar ones. But if you want to find something very specific or a company supplier, you can actually go in and enter it right here, and it will pull it up. So that is a cool feature that Jungle Scout does have that Helium 10 does not. And to be honest, that's really the only tool that Jungle Scout has that Helium 10 does not. And if we come back to Helium 10, if we come to the tools, we've got Atomic, which I talked about. That's the PPC tool. So if you're looking to optimize and automate your campaigns, you will have to upgrade to the Diamond plan, which is $250 a month, but you will get what's called Atomics. Another code called Alerts. This is crucial. Like, you have to have this turned on. It's just included in the Platinum plan. This is going to monitor your listing for hijackers and let you know what's going on. Again, the audience comparing and basically doing a split test to know which color or what image you should use for your main image. The index checker, Jungle Scout does not have the misspellinator. This is kind of a cool tool. Again, it's not absolutely a must, but it is a cool tool to use for Amazon PPC. Then portals, this is really cool that Jungle Scout does not offer. You can build actually landing pages, you can collect emails, you can get QR codes. This is going to help you build a list outside of Amazon. And then scribbles, Jungle Scout has, again, a similar tool to scribbles. It's like the listing builder. The listing builder on Helium 10 and Jungle Scout are very similar, but Scribbles is kind of in its own world, which in my opinion is amazing. So for the most part, Helium 10 has a lot more features, a lot more filters, a lot more criterias, a lot just more functionality to the tool compared to Jungle Scout. And for the price, again, if we look at the professional plan, which to get the historical data, you have to be paying $129 a month, where Helium 10, again, it's going to be $99 a month unless you use my coupon code, where then it's $80 a month. That is, in my opinion, it's cheaper, has more features, it has more tools, it has more functionality, it has a lot more to offer. And my personal opinion, I'm going to go with Helium 10 as the winner. But again, nothing bad to be said about Jungle Scout. I just think that their features are not quite up to par to where Helium 10 is at. If I'm going to be paying $129 a month, I want to have every feature plus more than Helium 10, but they don't. That is my honest review. That is my honest opinion between the two softwares. To be honest, I actually started with Jungle Scout. I used Jungle Scout for my first year of selling, and then Helium 10 just came in and just dominated, and they just blew up. and I transitioned, and ever since I've been using Helium 10, and that's my preferred tool of choice. So I hope you guys enjoyed. It might have been a little biased, but again, this is just like I proved to you why Helium 10 is better. But you guys can go to the link down below, check it out. Again, Jungle Scout is great. If you guys want to use Jungle Scout, feel free. You guys can find great products. You'll do it, be able to do everything. But if you guys want to save some money, then Helium 10 is definitely the way to go. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought, what tool you guys are going to use. Is there another tool that you want me to review? With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video.